Hi there. Are you interested in dashboards to host in your Homelab? We are going to show you the latest which you can use for your family. This comes as a Docker container and we are going to run it in our Proxmox LXC Docker server. So you may ask, what is Homelab? It is a lightweight self-hosted web app for family use and requires no login for your family members. It offers tools like notes, shopping lists, chores, reminders, expense tracking, media downloader, etc., etc. All the data is kept private on your home network, so you are not exposed to the cloud. And this is all configurable by the use of a YAML file. And in this channel, we make it easy to deploy this as a Docker Compose file using our own recipe. We will provide a link to our GitHub repository where our instructions for this video can be found. Please have a look down below for the link. Enough said, let's get our hands dirty. This is our Proxmox server, and here is our LXC container which runs as our Docker server. What you need to do is to open your Docker server in the terminal, in our case, in the console. The first thing that we are going to do is to create a HomeHub folder inside our stacks folder, which is inside our OPT folder. So run this command. Now open that folder. We are now going to create a Docker Compose file. We are now going to look at our instructions. We have published this in our GitHub repository. So if you open the link, it will bring you here. And what you want now is to copy this. This is the content. Or you can click this button here. And now open the editor. Now we have a policy in this channel, and that is we don't publish any content without testing it. And as we have tested it, we've already created the file. So opening it, in your case, you will just paste in here, but we don't want to break our server, so that's the content you will paste in there. And then you will use Control S to save, X to exit. It's better than to type Control X, because then you got to say yes to save and enter for the file name. Right. Having done that, we are now going to create the next file, which is the .env file. We don't like exposing passwords and secrets, so we use a .env file to do that. So let's use our favorite editor. And again, we go to the repository. This time you are copying this content here. So just press this button here. Press enter. As we said, we've already tested it. In your case, you will right click and paste. And then Control S and Control X. Now we've got one more file we need to copy, and that's a config YAML file. So we'll create that in our favorite editor. This is the command you will run. And then go to our instructions, and at the bottom here, grab this. This is a simplified example. There are a lot more. Press the button to copy it, and you would paste it in here. The way that you can control what you want in here is to add and remove, or you can copy them in here and make them false to switch them off. We will now have a look at the developer's GitHub repository, and you see he has a lot more here that you can add. So we could add these, and then we can also add additional family members. Be careful, you've got to use spaces here. This is YAML. I want one for dad, and I want one for mom. And let's add Dracula. Now, if you go to the developer's Git repository, you'll see he's got some more values here that you could add. So let's grab recipes. And now we save this. Control S, Control X. Let's clear the screen. There is something we do in our channel that we don't see other people doing, and that is a Docker Compose pull. What this does is it pulls down all the dependencies for your Docker Compose file, so that when you do a Docker Compose up-d, it will start much quicker. Since we got this working, this will be much quicker on our machine. However, in your case, depending on your bandwidth, it could take a few seconds. Now that we've done that, we want to start it. To start it, we use the command docker compose up-d. This starts it in the detached mode. Now we can run this command. And you'll see in our case, it started fairly quickly. Now go back to our instructions in our Git repository, and over here you see you will use HTTP, your server IP address, :5000. Since we have a DNS name for our server, we will open it with this. And there we are. It started quite quickly. You see here, we added the recipe book by adding an entry in the config YAML file. It was this entry here. However, the developer has provided us with a lot more that you can add here. We are currently logged in as administrator, but you could log in as mom or as dad. And we even created Dracula as well. The shopping list is nice. You just add items here. So let's say milk, butter. And then when you've purchased the milk, you just mark them there as purchased. The idea of that is that you can reuse these. That saves you time typing. And then there's a recipe book. Here one can capture recipes. There's an expense tracker where one can track an expense. And let's add another expense. $200, $250. And notice here it shows Dracula, as we are logged in as Dracula. This is the most valuable application to use at home. There's one thing I need to do before I can use this. I need to change the currency to dollars. We trust you found this useful. We have considered to use this in our own household. Please give us a like. Please subscribe to our channel as we haven't reached our target yet. And please give us a comment about this and what you think you would do with it. Now we have a tradition in this channel that we greet you in 6 languages. Thank you, dude. Cheers. Baie dankie, totsiens. Auf Wiedersehen, mein Freund. Jesus in Aderpe. In de gebarkare. Grazie mille a me, ciao. Namaste. Namaskar. Domo arigato tomodachi. Sayonara.